The 1970s is the worst decade in American animation. I've complained about the 2000s a lot, and a lot of people complain about our current decade, but let me tell you, it's nothing compared to the utter horror and crap that is the 1970s. You think that Teen Titans Go is bad and our spin-offs nowadays? Try to imagine every single show being like Teen Titans Go. It's actually no exaggeration when I say about 80% of the shows in the 70s were spin-offs. It got bad, to the point of almost self-parody. Josie and the Pussycats in outer space, the Three Stooges with superpowers, the Flintstones meet the Thing. These were shows, not like one-off specials. They were full-on television shows. They gave both the Osmonds and the Jackson 5 their own cartoon. That'd be like if we gave a cartoon to Katy Perry or Lady Gaga today. And one episode of that shit is enough, thank you very much. If 80s was the era of ridiculous fashions, then the 70s was the era of ridiculous cartoons. Even if we go beyond the service value of the silliness, most of these shows are absolutely crap. But to show you why, we're going to have to take a look at one show in particular, and strange enough, it might be one of the most original shows of the 70s. But Mr. Enter, didn't you say you wouldn't review products of their time? Yes, I did. What I meant is that I wouldn't review a toy-based cartoon from the 80s just because it's a toy-based cartoon, or a racist cartoon from the 40s just because it's racist. We've moved on past those trends. So I'm not going to review a 70s cartoon just because it's low budget. But this particular show has other problems. A lot of other problems. The show is called Fraidy Cat. It's about a cat who has lost all of his previous lives because reason withheld, and is scared, desperately trying to make his last one last. Because comedy, everything is constantly trying to kill him. That includes his previous 8 lives. Whenever he says a number 1 through 8, a previous life of his will appear and make things worse, bringing Fraidy Cat closer to death. If Fraidy Cat says 9, a lightning cloud will start chasing him down. I could have chosen an over-the-top ridiculous show, but no, I picked the cruel and callous one. Also, apparently saying the words not numbers 2 or 4, or words that sound like the numbers, also summons these ghosts, just to pile in the cruelty. Yes, the show has a laugh track. Every cartoon in the 1970s had a laugh track. Find me for the don't. I can't exactly fault the show for having a laugh track, but I can fault it for using it way too much, being too obnoxious, and laughing at things that aren't even funny, or even at things that aren't trying to be funny. Fraidy Cat is walking when he notices someone taking his car to the junkyard, like Fred Flintstone. When he asks about it, the guy for some reason crushes his car off camera. I guess we should talk about the animation. In the 1970s, television animation wasn't profitable, like, at all. So people had to cut corners in any way that they could. They frequently did important actions off-screen or recycle animation as much as possible. You want an example? Fraidy Cat sees a female cat up in a tree. She does not change that pose once the entire episode. At best, she gets mirrored. It looks stiff and awkward, but all you need to do is draw it once.
Taking chances has finished me 8 times. Oops, I said 8.
And this is where the concept of the show becomes confusing. Fraidy here remembers his previous lives, but his previous lives are all from previous time periods. Number 8 is a gangster, one of them is a cowboy, another one is a caveman. So I don't exactly know what they were going for. Is this like religious reincarnation, except where cats get the short end of the stick and only reincarnate 8 times before their spirits are completely destroyed? Because if that's the case, that's fucking horrifying. Speaking of horrifying, number 8 gives Fraidy Cat some bones, and then he disappears. That's literally all he does, and he does that because a dog is around. Stuff like that is all that Fraidy Cat's other lives do. Fraidy Cat walks by trouble, tries to avoid trouble, accidentally says a number, and the previous lives get involved. Despite having a creative premise, the show is as formulaic as anything else in the 70s. And yes, despite being beat up, Fraidy Cat still has that exact same model. Anyway, Cupid comes out of nowhere, and then I think they attempt to tell a joke.
Hey, what's that?
Best wishes from Danny Cupid, stupid. You're in love.
In my little finger?
Look, Buster, no guarantees on the aim, just the love part.
Most of the humor of this time period is dialogue-based, but it's not really funny. Anyway, the cat from before turns out to be the pink cat's boyfriend. Fraidy Cat tries to get away, but he ends up falling completely in love because Cupid is a dick! Because Fraidy Cat has fallen in love and he can't control himself, he tries to fight back. So, off-screen we see that the animators did the worst possible thing to Fraidy Cat. They shrunk his model. Then Fraidy says the time, and all of a sudden a wizard that looks absolutely nothing like Fraidy appears out of thin air. I'm sorry, but I thought the concept of the show was that Fraidy lost 8 of his own lives. I mean, if anything should determine their personalities, it wouldn't be random time periods, it would be how they died. One of these guys would have died by falling from a high height, and so he's afraid of heights and tries to keep Fraidy from going up into high places. It makes sense, there's potential for comedy, and it fixes almost every problem in this cartoon, except it being from the 70s. In fact, I could see this working a lot as an adult cartoon, with a similar premise. Just, going all the way with things that would actually realistically kill you, like drugs and alcohol and stuff. But then again, 70s. Number 2 turns Fraidy into a giant and then turns into a mouse because comedy. And then number 2 turns him back to normal. This was done to basically waste the audience's time, in desperation to hit the 7-minute runtime. Then Fraidy accidentally summons one cat and his Stegosaurus. Great. Now the show makes even less sense. Is the dinosaur soul fused with the cat soul? Either way, Cupid shoots both the dinosaur and the cat, causing them to fall in love. Can ghosts get it on? I'm looking too deep into this. Anyway, the pink cat can't stand to show off and kicks Fraidy to the curb because plot device. And then the episode ends. Wasn't that hilarious? God, the 70s.
I can process words accounting to in my pixel screen displays for you. Computer graphics locked into your memory.
With fiber optics cast in plastic for nights with sights and sounds fantastic. Just reach out and talk to your dear old Uncle Emily.
Everything you wanted and more.